The reason why I got diagnosed with schizophrenia is because I suffered from psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
What is psychosis? It's like a loss of touch with your reality. Let's say you stop at a corner and you see a stop sign and you're like, oh, that stop sign was there because it's a sign in my life that I need to stop and blah, 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 blah. But it's like being uncontrollable in the sense that like you can't sit anywhere without being like, okay, that's a sign, that's a sign, that's a sign, that's a sign. And I suffer from that sometimes. Also, I suffer from very like paranoid thoughts where I think like the government's after me, the government's like watching me. You're not really my friend because you're working with the government and you're like trying to find this information about me. I don't hear voices. I don't see things. But I do. It's like I see signs in something that's like nothing.
So you apply them in your brain to a coded message almost.
Yeah. There was a point where I thought my psychosis was really like, because I deal with a lot of suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
I thought my psychosis was like, okay, you think you're about to die? Let me open the gates of heaven and hell. And you choose what you want to align with.
Right.
Because I've been educated on what psychosis and schizophrenia is, I feel like the thoughts aren't real. So then I just try to ignore it. But it's really disturbing because it's like you'll be talking to me, but then whatever you say, I'll be like, oh, that has a double meaning. Oh, you're talking about something else.
Does that affect work? Does work know? Do you have to tell them?
Right now, I'm good at my job. I will admit that I've been having sleeping problems, and because of that, I've been late to work. So that's the only thing that I've been like reprimanded about.
But when you're at work, are there moments where you start reading into things at work?
No.
So as long as you're occupied, maybe it kind of stays in the back.
I love being occupied. That's why I have 2 jobs. Because the reason why I can't sleep is because my brain is thinking like 24/7, and not just thinking. It's just on 24. It's just on 24/7. Whether it's like my own conscious like talking about something or like a funky song playing in the background. And that's why I can't sleep, because it's like my brain is on like volume 1,000%.
So you need something to drown out the thoughts and
yeah. It's the reason why I don't really mind my psychosis is because it feels like you're high without any drugs, because you're paranoid, you're wondering, you're thinking. It's like so many things that's happening that it's like, okay, like I don't really need to enhance my brain with drugs because my brain is already like off of it. Like today, I was watching the news. I was just like, oh, they're doing that because that relates to me, like subliminally, like that they're talking about something that I know.
Well, something you feel that you relating to, but you're really not.
Yes, like it's like let's say I'm a secret agent and they're trying to talk to me through code in the news channel.
Man, it is scary.
tough. Both of those.
This one is weed, a sativa, and this is vape, tobacco.
So you do it for the flavor and the high.
I like the smoke. I like the sensation of the smoke and like my lungs. And I like it to the point where it's like I almost can't breathe. Like right now.
Because it makes you feel alive somehow.
Okay, so I feel like I have like serious like desensitization problems. In the sense where it's like I don't want to feel. So like with this, it's like it gives me a kick out of it. When I was in the hospital, I broke up with my boyfriend because I thought I needed to break up with him to leave the hospital for them to let me go. Then I got back together with him and I still experienced some psychosis. Like there was like a time like during the week of my birthday, and he took me out to the city and we walked the Brooklyn Bridge, and I thought the people that were taking pictures, the tourists that were taking pictures, were actually taking pictures to like catch me and him in the background, like how in love we are. So then like when I become famous, they could have pictures of me like, oh wow, like that's her, like from the start. You
created your own paparazzi.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you living like a celebrity.
That's why I like my psychosis. It's like I have fun with my reality. The only reason why the hospital is like, okay, this is bad, is because when I was suffering from my first psychotic break, not even psychosis, but psychotic break.
And what's the difference between psychosis and
In
psychotic?
my definition, when I say psychosis, it's because it's like, it's tamed. But when I say psychotic break, it's because I think it's to the point where it's like, I have to kill myself. Which I've gotten to before. Because it got to the point where it's like I had to throw myself out the window. Because I thought I got a premonition that God was telling me that my descendants are gonna prosper, but I need to die. Like, I need to throw myself in front of the trucks because I was in the highway. And then I thought also that I got a premonition that when I threw myself in front of the trucks, I was gonna be paraplegic.
Paraplegic.
There you go. Well, what would be the benefit of you becoming paraplegic?
I would go along with my destiny, so that then my descendants could, because I got a premonition that like 40 years from now, my descendant was gonna like be good, and then like 60 years from now was gonna be like good and like that.
And how do you talk yourself out of that at that point?
At that point, I didn't know what it was that I was experiencing.
So it's pre-diagnosis.
So that's why I was like, I thought it was so real, to the point where it's like I had to act on it. I was like, oh God, I gotta kill myself.